Hello everyone, it's Nick from Claret and Booze. I hope you're all well. How you all feeling today? Are you all chipper? I certainly was. When I woke up this morning, had a little spring in my step. I was a bit tired, but so much nicer waking up after a decent performance. I mean, it wasn't a win, but it felt like one. Away to Aston Villa. With all things considered, that was a fantastic performance and result, I think. And we was unlucky in the end. We actually deserved to win. If you look at all the stats, I think we had more possession, we had more passes. All of these shots on goal and on target were even. But if you look at the XG, we had a far higher XG because we created better chances. I finally know what XG means. It means you created better chances. So we were unlucky. It was a good day out. Fantastic. Right, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe. If you haven't already, it is free to do so. Hit the bell notification button and don't forget, drop a like on the video as well, because that does help. Okay. The reason I'm making this video today is, it's going to sound very rich coming from me, but everyone knows my obsession with David Moyes, getting him out of the club, the hatred for his football, and the fact that I wasn't enamoured with Lopetegui at all. I tried to get on board with it, but very quickly you could see it was shit and it was only going to go one way. And under Lopetegui, you could kind of see that there was going to be no difference, and I used Soucek is like the pin-up boy of Moyes ball, unfortunately for him, and not just for me, but for an awful lot of fans. And it's probably unfair. I'm gonna kind of go into this now. It's probably unfair. I think so many of us have got PTSD from David Moyes that we look at Soucek and we think that it's only going to be when he's out of the team that's when we've officially moved on. If we haven't got him out of the team, then if nothing's changed, it's all the same. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Really, when you think about it now at this stage, when you look at the manager that we've got in, the current situation, because you can't ignore the context around this situation. You can't. If you do, you're an idiot. It's as simple as that. He hasn't got much to choose from. I've heard people say we should have just thrown Alford in there and taken Soucek out. Why? Just to sort of satisfy your desire to get Soucek out of the team. What did Alford show really when he was brought on from the 55th minute to make you think that he would be good enough to go up against Kamara, Rodgers and the other chap who's scoring all the goals at the moment in central midfield? I don't think he's quite there yet physically. I think he will be. I think Alford's going to be a great player, but he hasn't got the confidence yet. And like I said, I think what you might see from Alford, I might be wrong, Potter could pull another masterstroke with him. But I think you'll see Potts come back and go into midfield, and Alford might go out on loan to sort of do that bit of development that he needs. I just think that there's a fixation, there's an obsession with Thomas Soucek now, and people have got to the stage now where they're just ignoring all of the positives, because there are so many positives with this manager, what he's done, especially when you consider the context. It's ridiculous what he's done. Straight away, we bang on about getting the youth players in the team, and look, straight away from day one, he didn't just send Scholes onto the pitch. He made Scholes feel like he was 10 foot tall. Everything, the way he's brought him into this team has been fantastic. It's been brilliant. The kid is loving it as well. It ain't going to be long until he's a first-team player. We can all see that, but we've got to be patient. It's only been a few games. We didn't even really know if he was capable until Potter came in. So I just think that there's so many boxes being ticked when you look at the argument about identity. We haven't got any identity with West Ham anymore. Well, Scholes, there's your identity. He's a West Ham boy, come through our academy. Little Mark Noble, you got the same with Alford, you got the same with Urfi, you got the same with Casey. There's endless amounts of them. And now we've got a man in place who clearly is going to secure pathways for these boys to make it through. If they're good enough, they will get their opportunity. You can't ask for any more than that. He's proved it. The only frustration that I've got, as I said on the video yesterday, is the fact that I've got this concern in my head now that Sullivan may have identified that we've now got a manager that can polish a turd. So he can make something out of nothing, which could spell issues for us in transfer windows, because Sullivan ain't going to spend money if he doesn't think he has to. He had to throw money at Moyes. He had to throw money at Lopetegui. He might be looking at this guy thinking, well, it's all right what we've got. It's all right what we've got. That's why we're in a situation why he's been dragging out transfer deals. That's why we're probably not going to sign anyone of note until the very last day, when we'll probably get a couple of favours thrown at us from Barry Silkman. And you know what? Potter will probably make the best of those as well. But it isn't right. It isn't fair. This man needs proper investment. He's got. I would hope that he isn't going to tolerate that. I would hope he doesn't. But to get back to the original point, there are so many positives. If you just look at the Villa game, for people to say nothing's changed, we had more possession than them away from home with a decimated squad. They're bringing on Duran, what's his name? Buendia, Marlon, the new player. We're bringing on Andy Irving, Danny Ings. And we're still attacking. It's 1-1. We're still going for the win. We're still looking like the ones most likely to win the game. So I think what I'm trying to get to here is I'm seeing all the criticisms of Potter. I'm seeing people take one negative and hanging on to that and ignoring everything else, because we have got a lot of positives now. It ain't like there's one and no. And if you think, because what's making me question myself as well is the fact that with Moyes and Lopetegui, they looked fucking clueless. They was making ridiculous decisions week after week, and you felt like you could question them. I don't feel like I can question Potter yet. I think this guy's an expert. I think he knows what he's doing. I think it's a very complex situation to come into a football club like the situation that he walked into, where you've got a fractured dressing room, where half the players want to leave, no one's happy. He's got to try and repair relations, rebuild confidence of players. So you can't come in dropping bombs, ripping captaincies off of people, dropping that player, dropping this player. No, you've got to get people back together, galvanise them, and then go from there. And we're already seeing us. We're playing in a different way. The stats don't lie. You know, well, it ain't all been great. The Palace game was terrible, but he's experimenting. But what he did do is he almost reverted back with Paqueta up front to what he did that was successful against Fulham. So he is learning. He's not stupid. He isn't repeating the same mistakes. So every sign that we're getting from Potter is positive. And Thomas Soucek is going to be a stick that some people are going to beat him with the whole way through. And that is very rich coming from me, because I can't stand Thomas Soucek as a footballer. It does irk me when he's on the team sheet. It does. But if you look at any Potter team, there isn't a Thomas Soucek figure in existence in a developed Potter team. There's just not. There's no space for someone like that. They have to be ball players. They've got to be competent with the ball. But there is a reason why. There has to be a reason why Soucek has been selected regularly by now 3 different managers. 3 very different managers as well. It's probably due to the fact he's an extremely hard worker. He's very compliant and managers trust him. So in this sort of situation, and he's probably popular as well with the other players. So there's a lot of things that maybe we don't take into consideration when we just watch a game of football. You know, like I said, there has to be a reason. But one thing I'm certain of, and I really am, and that's why I'm so relaxed about this now, is that Thomas Soucek won't be our midfielder next year. He won't be starting. He will not. There will be replacements brought in. We will have different types of player in our central midfield. There will be legs. There will be technical players. We will be very different. So in the first team, Thomas Soucek's days are numbered. So I'm quite relaxed about it now. And I'm not going to get on his case every 2 minutes. I'm overlooking all the crap. I even said yesterday on the match review, I thought he did all right. I haven't got high expectations of Soucek. I haven't. I know he kind of just floats around. He does. But I think that's kind of what his job is. He's like a spare man. He's there for an extra body in defence when we need like an extra blocker. And he's there for an extra body to sort of add a little bit of something to the attack when we're throwing balls up or throwing crosses in. That's literally what he's there for, I think. I don't know what else. But he does give 100% commitment. He does. And I think if we had other options, I think there is a good chance that he would be phased out even at this stage. But I think we're going to have to wait a little while. We are. And for people to sort of just, like I said, ignore all the good that we've seen in the past 2 weeks, when you bear in mind what we've had to tolerate. So we've got all of this promise and people are hanging on to that. And I do get it. I get it. Thomas Soucek is the pin-up boy for Moyes ball. I understand that. He is. But it probably isn't fair on the player. You know, it's probably not his fault. You know, he just does his best. That's all he does. And Potter is using him for a reason. He's not a mug. Potter ain't a mug. So I'm placing a bit of faith in Potter. I think if he's selecting him for a reason. You know, I criticised the inclusion of Cresswell and Soufal. They both played well. In fact, they were probably, somebody made a really good point on the comments of the video that I put out last night. They were probably the reason why Kilman had such a good game, because I don't think he is a great leader. But having that experience either side of him, and I did notice it, you had Cresswell pointing his fingers, constantly telling Kilman where to go, kind of orchestrating things back there. I think it worked for that reason. I think it helped Kilman, and Kilman had a blinding game off the back of it. Cresswell had a really good game. Soucek was really good after that initial incident where the guy went past him. But look, that's pace. That's pace. There's nothing Soucek can do about that. So, yeah, I think what I'm getting to here is I think we just need to trust the process, because I think there is a process this time. It's not crap. We're going in a direction now, and it's going to be an awful lot better if this man does get the tools that he needs to really push us on, because I think if we did go out and give this guy a dynamic midfielder and a forward, we would push on for top half this season. We would. And that'd be an amazing way to finish a crappy year. It would be. I don't think Sullivan's going to give it to him. I don't. I do think that there is something in the ego of David Sullivan playing a part in matters here at the moment. He doesn't seem to have any urgency to want to give Potter the tools that he needs to really excel, because he is going to be a little bit arse hurt, as I said the other day, because he looks an absolute mug through forcing Lopetegui in and wasting all of that money. Another crap manager that he brought in that he's had to sack and pay off. And then we've brought in a manager that he didn't want, he didn't fancy. He said a load of bad stuff about him, said it was only the Brighton system that was a reason that Potter succeeded. That's literally what Sullivan said before. But we got him through anyway for a board vote. So this wasn't a Sullivan man, and the fact that he's doing well and the signs are promising and the fans like him is going to probably deep down really piss Sullivan off. Even though you would imagine, as the owner of the football club, that would be reaping the financial rewards of West Ham doing well and a manager developing players that we can then sell for a profit, I just think that is a type of man that we've got running this club. I think he's already got all the money in the world. I think it's all about ego with him. West Ham is his toy. And he's definitely he's lost a little bit of power this time around. So there are going to be some political games being played, and we're seeing it played out now. You know, I mean, Tim's gone now. Are we blaming Tim still for the fact that we ain't signed anyone? Probably never was Tim. Tim's had to cope with all this crap. I'm not saying Tim was perfect, but we all know that the ultimate reason for our struggles with recruiting players, it's always Sullivan, because it doesn't matter who your analysts are, who your scouts are. Ultimately, it's going to come down to Sullivan going with his gut instincts, the part of his gut that's closest to his pocket, repaying favours to the likes of Barry Silkman, Salthouse. They're the ones he listens to. These football experts, who are not experts at all, they're salesmen pushing clients of theirs into West Ham for a large fee, And we all know why that is. It's the world's worst kept secret, isn't it? But it's just a shame. It is a shame that, because Sullivan, you would imagine, you know, he's not the healthiest man around. He's approaching the latter years of his life now. You would imagine that after all the shit that he's done, he might want to leave a little bit of a legacy, because he's got an opportunity to do so now. So say he's got 5-10 years left on this earth. He could have, if he's lucky. Why not leave being a character that fans might actually appreciate? Try to repair that reputation, rather than just live up to the reputation that you built up throughout your whole career as a businessman as a little shitbag. Is that really how you want to go out? You've got an opportunity to be, I mean, you'll never be loved. You won't. But people will give you credit where it's due. If you was to go out in this window and back this man, people would definitely give you credit. And then if we got success off the back of that, and you continue to back him, obviously you are part of that situation. You are. But I don't think it'll ever happen. I just think it's just a real sordid, twisted shit show back of house at West Ham. And Potter's going to have to do something that he's never done before. And that's, he's going to have to work with little to no help. Whereas at Brighton, he did have help. He did. You know, it was a perfect platform for a coach like him to succeed. Whereas here, he's going to have to be a little bit more forceful. And he's going to, I think at West Ham, you do have to demand as a manager. You've got to say no to players. You've got to not be scared to say no. And you've got to go in and demand when you want something. Otherwise, you don't get. So that might be a dynamic that Potter's not quite familiar with. I don't know. He'll soon learn. Having Brady on side, can only help. But I'm really excited about it. I do have the concern, the nagging doubt in the back of my head that Sullivan is out there to sabotage all of this. But I just don't think it's going to work. I don't think he'll sabotage it to the degree where Potter fails. He'll just hold him back and maybe not let him be as successful as he otherwise could be. Or I could be completely wrong and West Ham could go out in this window and Sullivan could just shut me straight up and we could go out and buy a load of players. But look, the point of this video anyway, and this is a bit of a mad ramble, is I'm fully on board with Potter in a ridiculous way. You know, he's I don't even notice what he does when he makes changes and tweaks in game. He did it against Villa. The first 10 minutes they was all over us. He did something, and then they weren't. He stemmed that flow. He's a very clever, very astute man. You know, he didn't in the second half make mass changes. The team just came out and we was pressing. We had a game plan. Everyone bought into it. Every single player in that team believes in him as well because you can see it. They're all big egos at West Ham, and every single player is buying into what he's pushing. So I think it's very exciting times, even with the nagging doubt in the back of my head that Sullivan's always going to be an anchor that weighs us down. And what rhymes with anchor? Yeah. So, yeah, I just think that people need to, and this is rich coming from me because I've been one of the biggest moaners ever over the past 2-3 years with the likes of Soucek, with players like that. But you just got to get over it now. He ain't going to be here for long. You just got to look past it. Enjoy the positives. Enjoy the fact we've now got youth coming through. We've got a manager that's tactically superior to any of us. You know, he knows what he's doing. He does. And I'm just enjoying the ride now on the pitch. There's still loads of areas to do with West Ham and the ownership that need rectifying. You know, the concessions thing, that still hasn't really gone anywhere, is it? So, yeah. In terms of football, I'm happy and I'm hopeful for the future. I just hope that Sullivan doesn't fuck us all around too much longer. I mean, he's only got another week of fun anyway with the transfer window before he can shut up and go and lock himself back into his mansion again when it will become irrelevant for another 6 months because he's only relevant when there's a transfer window open. Other than that, he's not relevant at all, is he? So he's just going to make the most of the exposure and pissing us all off at the moment because I do think it's personal with him. And we'll see where we go. But let me know what your thoughts are anyway. Are you of the opinion now that, you know, you're happy with Potter, but if Soucek doesn't come out, then we haven't moved on and we've just got to throw all the kids in and just get Cresswell out, get Soufal out, even though they did nothing wrong in that game the other day, get so-and-so out? Or do we just maybe take a step back, take a deep breath and enjoy the football? I'm going to have a go at doing a latter. After 4 years of Moyes and then Lopetegui, I'm embracing Potter ball. Come on, you irons.